welcome to all of you who are listening and seeing us later on YouTube here on our third episode already of Ferrières Insight, our online streaming show here in which we want to share with you the insights of some hospitality veterans, experts in the world of hospitality, luxury, hotels, restaurants, and events and retail. And we hope this gives you some building blocks for your career. Those of you that are considering joining the hospitality industry, and hopefully you'll be seduced by what these wonderful people will bring us. So my name is Willem van Rossem. I am your host for the coming hour, and I am the campus manager of the Barcelona campus of Ferrières Hospitality and Luxury Management School, and I'm also in charge of the international partnerships. And today, we have two grand ladies of the international hospitality world with us. We have the pleasure of the company of Deanne Gabel, currently owner and managing director of the Cottages at Punta Villas in Florida, and a former executive in Walt Disney World. And we have Anne-Françoise Brambach, vice president human resources at Sunset Hospitality Group. And yes, we're very happy to have you with us. And all of you who are listening, we want this to be a dynamic, engaging conversation. So feel free already in the chat to put your questions, and so we can actually answer them in real time. And also the last 15, 20 minutes, we'll leave those open for a Q&A session. So let's really make this an engaging, dynamic hour. Before we start, I want to tell you that this program is brought to you by Ferrières Hospitality and Luxury Management School in Paris, one of the premier hotel schools in Europe. And for more information, check out our way. Hey, Deanne, we have you.
I turned it off and on a couple of times. Sorry.
Good. I'm so excited. Wow, Deanne. Amazing. Nice.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Good. Great.
Never give up, right?
Yes. Nice. So, as I was saying, we're very excited to have both of you here. So let's dive straight into the conversation. Perhaps Deanne, as you came in later, we'll give you the first word here. How did you get into hospitality in the world of hotels? What triggered you? What pulled you in? What is the beginning?
Well, that's a great question. I first started in banking right out of high school, and then I moved to Maui and I worked at Bank of Hawaii, and just by chance. So I would say it's a little bit of luck, a little bit of opportunity, and a little bit of curiosity. And so I happened to open the accounts for the new Intercontinental Resort on Maui, and went down and began as a lifeguard at the pool on the weekends. Wow. And that blossomed into a wonderful lifelong career.
Wow, impressive.
That was a bit of serendipity, I guess I would say.
Nice. And then can you talk a little bit about your career path after that? How, since being a lifeguard, I mean, you were doing much more, right? So,
so that progressed on to, it's a long life with a long career, so I'll try to keep it brief.
Yeah.
So I went from there through the front office and a variety of things at the Intercontinental operating assistant manager, which is a person they call when anything goes wrong. So that was a great learning opportunity. And then went to Seattle. I opened a Seattle Sheraton as a front office manager, a rooms director in Palm Springs, back to Maui. Worked for United Airlines for a couple of years, and then worked in various operating roles there, and moved to New York City then eventually as a number 2 in a resort off of Times Square, a hotel off of Times Square. Nice. And from there I went to Disney, where I met you, Willem, which is the highlight of my life. Yes. And so then I moved back down to Florida, and became the general manager of the Yacht and Beach Club Resort. And that was really, a lot of these were just opportunities that happened along the way. I can't say I think I just did a good job and found my way along. Along the way, I'd been at Four Seasons, at Millennium, and then finally ended up in Florida.
Yes.
And I left Disney after several wonderful general manager, director roles there.
Yes.
And was senior vice president at Wyndham Vacation in Orlando. So I was there all told about 8 years. And I decided to leave there and go back and help my alma mater in Winter Park. The Alpine Inn opened a new resort, and I had to put it all together myself. And it was a wonderful opportunity. And then off to Florida, or back down to the Florida Keys, where I was one of those fix-it general managers for a couple of years and brought a hotel back to its 5-star wonder. And then decided to take it easy and bought a property and operate it myself now. So,
wow, quite a story, yes. And just this also, I think, shows our audience the amazing career that you can have, and I say the opportunities that come along the way. You can go back and forth, travel the world, and in many variety of roles, and with hard work and doing your best. The world is your office, right? It's very, very inspiring, and I can attest that you did a great job, Deanne.
Well, thank you. Service is universal, right?
Yes, So, Anne-Françoise, what is your talk to us about your career path?
It's not the same career as Deanne, but if I have to explain when everything started for me, it was when I was a little child. I was always attracted by traveling and luxury hotels. And I was always thinking, if one day I want millionaire, I will not buy a house. I will live in hotels, definitely. 6 months at Ritz and six months, I don't know where, but it was my feeling. And after that, I can say like a classical path on my time. It was, I've done my level back studies. And after, because normally in my family, we were supposed to go to university. I just do 1 year on a, lawyer university. But I did not like it. And it's just to show to my dad that it was not my passion. And after 1 year, he accepts that I moved to hotel management studies, and I start to do 3 years of hotel management studies with internship. And, in all operational department, because when you do this kind of studies, more than 30 years ago, you've got a part of studies at school and also a part of training. And I also start to work on a weekend as a student in a restaurant, and I prefer to be in a kitchen doing stewarding and commis than to be in contact with guests. I'm telling you that because after, I think this is the reason why I choose to be on human resources and not on front desk. I choose my guest. It was my internal guest, my favorite one.
Important too.
And my last internship at financial department, they offered to me my first job. It was in a 4-star hotel in Brussels, and I accept that job to start because it was a job in accounting department, and I was very happy. But after 1 year, I realized that I've got a English level very, very poor, and I say, oh my God, I have to go to London because I have to practice this English. I miss it. And I went for 1 year at Le Méridien Piccadilly, and I was evening maid. So you can imagine again my dad. So I do the job, and it was okay. And for me, it was very important to practice in operational department to understand how they work and what are their needs. And it was on a great help for me. And after 1 year, it was the opening of Méridien Bruxelles, who is not existing yet. And I come back to Brussels on general cashier. It was accounting department again. And after 1 year of general research, they promote me, and I've got assistant human resources manager. And so I start to find, I think, the right position I would like to do. And after 3.5 years, I left for personal reasons, and I joined Paris. And in Paris, I can say, another part of my career, again on operational part. And I was assistant of the event banqueting manager at Le Grand Hôtel Intercontinental. Oh. And I enter, after Le Méridien, another big company, IAG. And I spent many years in IAG, and step by step, I was training manager in my department. And after I got the opportunity to start in human resources by the training, I want to say the training department, because I did not have human resources diploma. So I have, to do, I could not be a HR generalist. And I worked at Intercontinental, le hotel in Paris, as training and recruitment managers. And after that, Blackstone, there is a headhunter who asked me, and they proposed me another position in Blackstone, and I left the company. How I can say, I have the opportunity to live. There is a rebranding, because Intercontinental was the brand, and there is a Starwood who arrived on rebranding at Westin. And I really enjoyed that moment on the training director. And after that, I was thinking, if I want to be a HR generalist, I have to go back to school. And I go back to school to get my diploma on the human strategy and human resource director. And after, that diploma, I apply for my first position of HR generalist at W Paris Opera in France. And I was very proud of that, because for me it was Starwood, and it was, my first position after my studies. So this is a thing that I want to say also, because sometimes, you finalize your study, you start working, and after you can restart studying to grow up. And after that, my previous 5 years, I worked with Covivio Hotel. I was chief people officer in a company. And now, 5 months ago, again, I received a nice proposal from Sunset Hospitality Group. They are looking for a vice president human resources for Europe, North Africa, and Turkey. Nice. And based in Barcelona. And, again, with the COVID story, we have decided to move to Barcelona 2 years ago. And I continue to work with Paris, and my portfolio of hotel in Paris, but I was already in Barcelona. So again, it was a great decision, because, I was comfortable on my position on chief people officer at Covivio Hotel. And I want to say, I took the risk to say, okay, I will start on a new environment, a new position, new language, English and Spanish, and a new culture, new DNA. But I think if you do not take risk, nothing happens. Yes. So here I am.
Nice. No, it's important, right? To sometimes, come out of your comfort zone and go new ways, right? New paths. Yeah. Quite a journey as well, in every sense of the word, Anne-Françoise. Deanne, as you mentioned, of course, we got to know each other in Disney. What is for you the most important lesson learned in Disney? Because you've worked in a lot of great companies and hotels, what is it that perhaps stays with you the most of your years?
Every company has a different way of doing things, and I'm glad we're actually compadres, because we both work for Intercontinental Hotels, so that's great. Nice. So I think between Intercontinental, Four Seasons, Sheraton, Millennium, and then at Wyndham, in Disney as well, you tend to look at things through a little bit different of lens, but actually on the other side, you sort of see the same thing. It's just a different way of getting there. For example, the Four Seasons is they simply follow the golden rule.
Yes.
And do unto others what you would have done unto you. And so it's actually a very simple a way to approach business. And I think Disney has that as well, where they firmly believe that if they bring in the right leaders who then attract the proper staff and continually train, support, and grow those people, that they will in turn take care of the guests.
Yeah.
And the guests will in turn deliver the profit. So the profit's not first, the profit is last. And so I think that was it was a really important thing to help me congeal. And and by that time, they actually helped me get my MBA, Disney did. And so I was very happy with that. Yeah. So it all sort of congealed in my own mind that while business may come first, the path to get there is often determined by your care and concern for your guest, or the delivery, and the foremost is the care and concern for your staff and the continued development of your staff. So
that's what Anne-Françoise called, right? The internal guest.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember with Disney, what stuck with me was hire right, train right, treat right, right? Those were kind of,
Yeah, absolutely. Listen and learn. And, I think there's a lot of great listen and learn tools. But beyond listening and learning is to have continual feedback, because if you are in a forum or you have a staff member, someone, a team member, or in Disney's case, a cast member who is has something to share with you that is important or can grow the business or is a concern of some kind, is not only to research that and determine what the issue is, but always to loop back around and close the communication. And so as a leader, I think that's a very important tool to have, is to make sure that the communication is always complete, because taking feedback is one thing and being empathetic, but then actually solving the problem. And in human resources, I know you face this continuously, but it's actually completing the thought process and the work. So and that was a good learning thing.
Yeah. Anne-Françoise, do you also feel in terms of, is there also like a particular company that for you stands out in terms how they deal with the employees, how they hire, they train, the internal service culture, if you will? Again, they all have beautiful things, right? All companies, but is there something that stands out for you?
Yeah, of course. I think this is how I can say that. If if you do not have, I want to say, a nice journey and retention program and high potential program and everything that you can put, to deliver a nice experience for great talent, doesn't make sense to hire people. I think for me it's a fundamental, and this is what I'm looking in companies when I'm attracted by a company. Sure, the branding can be attractive, and the DNA and the values, but before I want to say everything is what are the position regarding this journey, or I want to say talent programs, proposal, or it can be a promise, what they promise.
But you have to make that promise a reality then, right? One thing, it's easy to promise, but you have to deliver.
Of course. Yeah? But this is I think this is why HR are here, to deliver this promise on reality. And if I talk about the Sunset Hospitality Group, I think the reason why I say yes, I want this job, is because they got recognition like Great Place to Work certification. And when they talk about their mission, they say we provide extraordinary experience, bringing people together to celebrate life. This is our mission.
Nice.
So when you got this sentence in your mind, you know how to act.
Very true. yeah, you talked about HR, Anne-Françoise. What makes you so passionate about HR, right? Because you said that's also nice. There is a lot of roles you can go. Deanne perhaps was more front of the house, and you are more back of the house. So there's place for everyone, right, in hospitality. What is the all your career in HR, right, in human resources?
A big part, yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm passionate, I want to say, about people, but I'm passionate, what I say about people, I'm passionate, I think, to put people in the heart of business. Mm-hmm. Because again, if you do not put people in the heart of business, you cannot expect something, I want to say, exceptional. I believe also in core values that we got, and these 5 core values that we learn. It's that we people have to be understood. There is 5. Let me remember. Yeah. Now I'm talking about there is to be understood, also belong, feeling unique or special, and keep more control on our life. And the last one is. Some people want to attain their high potential. Everybody got, a definition of potential and high potential of career, but everybody believe and want to expect that. So this is all around that, and we have to, to bring life with that component. This is what I want to tell you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. Both of you have worked in individual hotels as well as at the corporate level, right? How do you compare and contrast these two, working in an individual property as opposed to be in the corporate headquarters? Deanne, if you want to start, compare and contrast, and is there a particular one that you liked more, or is it apple and oranges?
Well, one might think that in developing your career and I respect being in corporate. I loved it very much. I think it's a wonderful place to be, but I think you have individual tendencies that you need to fulfill. I often felt like when I was in corporate, that I was a bit of a puppeteer because I was in owner management and association management. So I felt like I was a little bit behind the scenes and I was watching the show, but I didn't really have a lot of control over it. And
Deanne, can you explain perhaps the association, the two differentiation, what you were talking about inside Wyndham, right?
Yeah, so I could, you could be a general manager, you could be operational online, you could be running resorts or, or things that I had done. And one of my roles there was I was a regional vice president of several resorts in Florida and the Caribbean. And I liked that job very much because I was on the road and I was seeing people, but I was providing leadership and support for development and change and growth. But did not feel that I was having the kind of impact that I thought I could have. Mm-hmm. And so moving, and my decision to leave Wyndham really had more to do with, I had so much respect that I got an MBA, and this is a short story. I didn't have an undergraduate degree, as you know, Willem. And so when I had the opportunity to go to Rollins College and get an MBA without an undergraduate degree, I felt very indebted. And so I was at Wyndham, I spent a lot of time giving back. When we remodeled a resort, we would send furniture to their housing for their students. And we would do a lot of things to help the school. So when they came to me and said, we need to open this resort and we need to have someone who understands the school, and I was on the board of the business school at the time, I couldn't pass that up because they're asking me. And so off I went. And I had to create my own hospitality, and that is really what I enjoy. And so I think it's a sense of really what makes you happy at the end of the day. You feel like you're adding value. And I found that to be in creating hospitality and touching it every day, and not necessarily from a corporate perspective. And so both are good. It just depends, I think, on what your personal passions are. I think we all think we want to be the CEO, but and not many of us actually have the capacity to do so. But you know, I think you have to understand what really makes your clock tick and all of that, you know, and do it to the best of your absolute ability, you know. So, and that became a very successful direction for me to move. So
yes, nice. Anne-Françoise, what is your take on corporate versus operational or individual properties?
You know, it's a good question, and it's not easy because when I'm on corporate office, I'm always missed operational, you know, and I always thinking about, like, for example, my last experience at the human resources director at W Paris Opera. And if I'm honest, I think I was very, very happy when I was at W Paris Opera with my team. And, you know, every time on this hotel, we live so many things together. When you are in corporate office, it's different. Means, you know, for me, you've got another level mission. You must be sure to lead, and you must be a support. And being a support, it's also be very close to operational. And this is the way, you know, how even if I'm on corporate office, everybody knows I cannot stay in an office alone. I have to go in the hotel. I have to check. I have to catch up. Even by Teams, I need contact. This is me. And I think, I don't know, perhaps, you know, again, this proposal for me was so amazing. I say to my husband, if I do not accept, I'm sure I will regret for the rest of my life. But now I'm not sure I will do that for the rest of my life. Perhaps in 5 years or 10 years, I don't know. You know, I don't know, because this is also what I love in hospitality industry. You can change position, you know. Sometimes I was thinking, and why not being general manager in an hotel? You know, because again, it's a story of a team. So even if you do not have all the knowledges, but you've got the good team, you can do great things, and you can do everything. So for me, it's possible. So
so true, so true. No, the other day I had a meeting with one of the general managers here in Barcelona of the Intercontinental in Barcelona.
Good.
And he said, you know, I'm not Superman, you know, and you are not Wonder Woman. You're as good as your team is, right? So so true.
I know, as the saying goes, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so you need to find a new one. And what that's intended to say is that the leaders that you surround yourself with. And it's okay if there are other people, you want them to be smarter than you, because you are a generalist, not an expert. And nobody is really an expert on anything, but there are people who specialize in certain things that you want to be able to trust them and their judgment and honor them. And so it's great to have people that are much more versed in the subject than you might be.
Sure. Yeah. Deanne, you left working for others, right? And then ventured your own company, right? How is it? What does it take to be a successful entrepreneur? You know, it's a big shift, right?
It is a shift. Yeah, it is a shift, and nobody gives you a paycheck.
No.
So, but I will say one thing: I really like the boss.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
So, no, I think the thing that I really enjoyed is, and I mentioned this a little bit about the Alpha and N, is the ability to create hospitality and provide it the way that I would like to see it.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller operation, so it's not, it's not a major hotel or anything, but I think the thing that I enjoy about it is engaging with the community, being part of we live in a smaller town, and so the operation is relative to the size of the town, but I love being able to make all the decisions that need to be made. Not that I didn't have to do that before, but I am maybe more consciously aware of the ongoing responsibility, because this is what provides for us. And so I take it very seriously. I am the CEO now, so as it turns out, I promoted myself. So. But no, I'd say that is one of the most exciting things, is that after building the experience that I've had, I felt very confident going on my own and operating a business, and I didn't feel fearful at all. And I mean, of course, you always have a little bit of, you know, I guess just being cautious, but not really fearful, just being responsible. And I think it helps to drive a fire in you as well.
Yeah, nice. Whether you have your own business or you're working in corporate, I think all of us in the hospitality industry, it's no secret, I think, that hotels and businesses have had challenging times in finding talent after COVID, right? Whether it's in the US or in Europe, we all, I think, struggle with the same problem there. I personally think there are probably internal things for us as an industry. I suppose that there are external circumstances that are causing this. But what is your take? Perhaps, Anne-Françoise, do you want to start? Why do you think? What are the reasons why it's so hard to find good people, to find talent these days since COVID, right?
And I think it's my feeling. COVID, it's not the cause. It's only, you know, for me, it's like I accelerate the situation. The situation is that we have to see that the global world has changed. And the new generation is totally different. And I think they know exactly what they want. And this is not the case on our age, you know, it was not the same word. And they want a balance, you know, between, I want to say, private life and professional life. They want also good salary. They want also career expectation. So we have I think the company, we have to adapt. Because we also live in the immediate, I want to say, the time is now, and we are also on an uncertain period and on a scary period, because we talk about COVID, but if we could talk about the situation today, you know, I'm not sure it's so funny to be young now. How can we manage that? And I think if in the company we would like to attract people, you know, we have to be agile, we have to adapt, we have to try to understand how they're feeling, what they expect, and not only judge, you know, before it was not like this. No, we really have, because it's about technology. It's about, you know, also artificial intelligence. A lot of things happen. It's very, very, very quick. And also communication has changed. And again, I think perhaps the COVID do a really strong step, because there is like a pause. And, you know, the word was like this. And with the COVID, we were obliged to pause. And it was with, you know, things which related to health of people and to life. So, again, this accelerate, but what was already growing, you know, because perhaps also young people, new generation, can see their parents working a lot, you know, and also effort culture has totally disappeared, and we must accept that. Because if not, we cannot be agile and be on fight with them, and we need them to continue the business.
Although, you're certainly true, right? But I think at the same time, without hard work or effort, and I know it's one of our core values as well at Ferrières, that it's hard to, you know, to be successful in personal and in private life, right? There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Or, well, sometimes, but not too often. right?
Totally
So,
agree with you. If you don't, I think if you don't go out of your comfort zone, if you do not take risk, if you do not take effort, nothing will happen. Be sure nothing extraordinary will happen. And you are responsible. I want to talk about Kruma, of your happiness, and you are also responsible of your journey, I think.
For sure. Deanne, what is your take on the challenge that we have as an industry right now to find talent?
Well, I'll start by saying I feel lots of empathy, and I have a lot of friends that were definitely negatively impacted by that. And in our business, we didn't feel it too much because we do more. One thing that's become an antithesis of hotels is we do a lot of Airbnb and short-term and longer-term rentals, which I think has really challenged the business model for hotels. And so I think both things are good, and I think hotels are learning to coexist with that type of customer base and creating facilities that help to fulfill that, which then makes a healthier business, which then makes attracting people and paying them what they need to be paid. I think that is part of the challenge. And so I don't think the hotel industry is fully recovered yet from COVID. And so if the money's not there, then it makes it hard. I do think, though, too, that, what was said, that younger people definitely have a different view about what hard work looks like. And I honor that. Yes, I honor that. But I would have to say that I probably worked way too much in my life. But I was one of those people, like many of us are, that I completely fell in love with what I did. And I didn't, it's not that I didn't trust people to do it if I wasn't there. That is not the case. I just really enjoyed being in the environment of it all, you know. And so I think that's difficult to instill in today's world with everyone is so electronic. And what we're losing in the process is this the relational responsibility of hospitality. That is never going to go away. The people to people piece is not going to go away. We tend to think that we can do more and more things electronically, but we all need to be cared for, recognized, and respected, and when traveling or anything else. And so I think a lot of the core values are going to stay the same, and I think this is important. If I were going into hospitality right now, I would say the world is my oyster. You know, I think that there are so many opportunities because it has fallen out of favor because it's sort of like taking the full circle. When I first got into the hotel business, it was like, oh, the service industry, you know, and it didn't necessarily have the panache that it enjoyed for many, many years. I think there's new hotel companies opening all the time. And so I think it's just a phase. I think it's going to pass, and there is no lack of people on the planet that need work. So part of it, I think, is just figuring out how to get the right people in the right places. It's a fantastic industry, though. If anyone who's listening in today had second thoughts about it, if it's your heart is in it, you can go very, very far. You know, and like anything else, if your heart is in it and you love it, you will grow very quickly.
Why is it so fantastic for you, Deanne? What is it? What made hospitality so fantastic for you?
You know, I think that there are people that are, there are some people who just derive enjoyment out of other people being happy. And I happen to be one of those. And it was a gift. I'd say that's a gift. But I do think that you can nurture that. I just think that you get in life what you give. And so hospitality is a great way to exercise that, not only with staff and their families and the development of a wonderful culture and the process by which you give to others, but then the satisfaction that you get from the guests that stay with you. And it comes back in multiples. So you may give one time, but it comes back 10 times. And so that is really what draws me to it. And it's just exciting and fun. And there's always something new. I've met so many interesting people in my life, so many interesting world leaders I have met. And I'm from Oregon. I'm from a little town called Boring, Oregon. And it's not really, it's kind of boring, but that's not why it's named that. It's very boring, which is why I'm not there anymore. But that should be a testament to how far you can actually go. If you really sink your teeth in and decide you're going to go somewhere with it.
Nice. Anne-Françoise, what makes you so passionate about our industry? What do you love about hotels and hospitality? Our industry as a whole.
You know what I love in this industry is that we've got the power to realize, to live an experience, even of guests and our talent. Also, when we talk about a journey, we really got the power. You know, it's not, for me, it's more than a service. You know, because you can really create great story, great experiences, and this is again, this is you can put so many good things on memory, and this is the reason why I think we can retain people, and there is people who do career many years in a company because they I think they love. For me, this is what at the end, it's just a question of to be passionate and to love people, and to got the power. I don't want to do a comparison with Disney because I never work at Disney, but this is a magic kingdom. So we also got this magic power for exceptional experience, for everybody.
Sure. One more question, and then I'm going to leave it to the audience, but this is perhaps the $100 million, 100 million euro question. Anne-Françoise, I want to, perhaps for you particularly, for all the young professionals and students, how should they prepare for the interview of their dream job? What are you looking at as a recruiter, as a human resources person? How do you select? How do you, well, I don't want to say judge, but how do you, separate, right? The different candidates, one from the other. At the end of the day, that's,
I think the first things, and it's basic, but it's very important to mention. First, you have to be prepared. You have to prepare your interview. Means you have, to take information regarding the position you apply for. You have to be informed regarding the company, and also, I want to say the power of internet. Go to LinkedIn, see the profile of the person who will talk with. And if you are prepared, on interview till many years, we are most on behavioral interview than on technical interview. Why? Because first, we know that normally behavioral interview, it's really to know who you are, how you feel, how you act. And this is what allowed us to get an idea if your DNA and your values with check with our company, because there is so many different company, so many different management. And I think it's important to choose the one where you will feel like your own company, because if not, again, you cannot understand the mission. You cannot, do the things. And this is what we check. This is really check with our values, and our DNA can fit with the values and the DNA of the person, because if not, he will not be happy. And for us, this is the key of the success. If you are not happy in your job, especially in an hospitality job, you cannot deliver it properly. It's impossible. It's impossible. And after that, I think, sure, we have to check also competencies, I want to say technical competencies. And another things, because this is some things who open very often. And for me, it's like, whoa, no, not this question again. When you apply for a position, you must know what you want. Even if you change your mind in 1 year, 2 years, but know what you want, because when you are on a high school career first, you've got student come to see you with their CV and say, hi, oh, this is nice. What can you offer to me? This question is, how can I know what you would like I offer to you? This is impossible. You must know what you want.
Good. Deanne, of course, also you hired a lot of people throughout the years. What do you look for in people? What do you look for? What is
I think I hired you, actually.
We all make mistakes. Yeah.
Well, we know the secret now.
So, I would say character. I think I agree with all of the points about the technical and the CV but the character of who you are, what you want, how you handle stress. I mean, I can remember when we were interviewing to open Four Seasons Maui, and I was a rooms director on the opening team. And one of the questions I like to ask everyone is, what do you do in your spare time? And I had one gentleman who ended up working as a concierge for us, and his answer was, I love to invite my friends over for pizza parties. And that might sound like a very simple thing for somebody to say, but what it indicates to me is there's a hospitality gene going on in there that needs to be satisfied. And I think I think attitude as well. You have to have this positive can-do attitude, because I will not sugarcoat it. Dealing with the public is even more challenging now, I think, than it has been in the past.
Why,
Diane? I think just because people become more difficult now since COVID, and it just seems more, can be more contentious. And I'm not really sure why people feel they have a license to behave this way, but I think this is why it's very important to know who you are and have strength in that, and understand your mission, absolutely, as was said. But then believe in that and stand firm. And as a character and as an individual in hospitality, you can really help the team along, I think, as any level of a staff member, if you're fully engaged with guests and understanding what is happening. I always prided myself in having this, I call it sort of like the global internet network is what it is today, but I had this sort of internal communication system. So if there was a problem brewing somewhere, I knew about it fairly quickly, and before it got too big. And I think that this is part of the DNA of wanting to work on a team with people, because there are roles in hospitality, such as human resources or in accounting sometimes, but those are also team roles in their own right as well. But if you're going to be working on the floor, or as a manager or a leader, or as a team member on a team, you have got to be able to flow with everyone. And you find that out in asking questions beyond their CV. What happened? What was the worst thing that happened to you when your team let you down, or you didn't agree with what somebody was going to do? What did you do about that? What did you think about that? Because it gives you an idea about what's happening in their mind. Interesting. And I think those things are critical, because you don't ever want to set anybody up for failure, for sure. And so being concise about those things. And on the other end, ask those questions when you're on the interviewing side. If you're interviewing for a job, come prepared, as was said, to ask those questions of those things that are critical to you for your own happiness and success.
Good, great tips. I want to leave the rest of the time for questions, and we have some already popping in. And meanwhile, feel free, audience, to chat. And so we see Could you share an unforgettable professional experience? Both of you, people you all said that you met wonderful people, or perhaps an experience with your team, something that really stands out in an unforgettable experience in your long, beautiful careers that you've had. Anne-Françoise? Go ahead, Deanne. Go ahead.
Go, Deanne.
I'll say the one that came to mind for me right away, besides the opportunity of meeting you and being here today, is when I met Henry Kissinger for the third time in the third different place. He said, "Oh, Deanne, I've met you before," and I thought, "Oh my God, there's a world leader who remembers who I am." And so it was one of those remarkable moments. It seems silly now to talk about it, but it was one of those times that was just fascinating. Yeah. And so we had a nice discussion about that.
I imagine. Wow. Nice. Mr. Kissinger. Amazing. Anne-Françoise.
Hi, my God. It's, in human resources, not so easy to got unforgettable experience that you can explain after, because it's very often for me, it's how I can say that I would like to find something very positive, even if sometimes it's good to show how you can solve a situation, and even if it's hard. And I was thinking, I think perhaps my best unforgettable experience that I lived, it's before being a human resource director, when I was at Le Méridien Bruxelles. So 30 years ago, there is this program like Employee of the Month, and after you could be Employee of the Year, and I was Employee of the Year. And nice. In Le Méridien organized, it was one complete week. All people, all Employee of the Year from all Méridien over the world has to come in Paris with a whole week program, and we also go to London. It was incredible, and it was amazing. And they asked us to bring a uniform from the hotel that we were proud, or something from our cultural countries, And we have done pictures with, I can tell you, it was 80 people from everywhere in the world, and with different uniforms, because, for example, at Le Méridien Brussels, we've got a groom who was a woman, and when I work on administration, financial, I asked, it was Irene, and I say, Irene, I need your uniform to put it, to wear it, to do the picture. And this was amazing, Now, when you do recognition program, it's always, you've got a voucher or celebration, but like this never happened. And I never know a strong program like this. And this is perhaps one of my best souvenirs.
Yes, I imagine. Wow, fantastic. Congratulations. There's another question that I see, and feel free, we still have a couple more minutes. What's the difference between a good and an excellent candidate in terms of when you're in an interview? What makes the cut? What's from good to great, right? From good to excellent.
I'll go ahead and say it. I think it's maybe it's a bit of a kinetic energy, but I think part of it is understanding the person that makes it to be the excellent candidate is the one that's going to fit best with the rest of the team where they're going to be. I think that's a clincher for me. Yeah. They're a good team player, and you understand their personality in relationship to others that they'll be working with.
Okay.
Yeah, to see the big picture, right? Yeah, the whole team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're, from a personality perspective, they are a good balance. Some people are linear thinkers. Some people just do things differently, and you need a balance of different qualities of people to make good decisions.
Yeah. There's one question here. The impact, in your view, of social media and digital communication for the hospitality industry? We're shifting a different gear here. The last question, especially in post-COVID. And also, how does it influence you when hiring? Does it people, social media, the digital form of communication? And I guess you look at the profiles, right, of people perhaps on LinkedIn or other.
Oh, sure. When you're hiring, oh, absolutely. You check.
Yeah.
I look at everything. I look at everything they have online. And if someone has some strange things on their Facebook page, I'm not afraid to ask them about it. You know, and I think that's, I think people are not sometimes aware that everything is accessible.
Yeah.
So it's not just what's on your CV and what you say, it is your presence. And that to me, that strikes on a hospitality in a large way has to do with your ability to provide presence in a way that is confident, professional, you know, and operating ethically on several levels. Because in the process of providing service, certainly everybody makes mistakes. We all make mistakes, but how you carry yourself in your life makes a big difference as to how successful you're going to be in the long run. And so, yeah, cautionary tale, possibly, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's not only for a candidate. It's always, you know, especially when you are on brand like W, you have to manage that every day. Because even when you've got, you know, a talent who is already, you know, in a company till many years, could happen something wrong with social media, and you have to manage that, because there is also private part life, but you cannot say you don't know, because, you know, it's on social media. So I think we have to be careful about that, and on the situations that I already know, we have to manage case by case, because each case can be different. And you know, we do the difference between professional media like LinkedIn. You know, for example, on LinkedIn, when you on LinkedIn, you this is your own account, but you say, I'm working on that company. So sure, if you put something again with not, you know, on a good way of the company, be sure you could have a disciplinary case. Yeah. If it's on Facebook or on Instagram, could be different, but better for HR to know, to anticipate.
Yeah, you have to always be professional in representing your team, your employer, family. Yes, very much so. Mm-hmm.
I've got the case to manage with a head office position, you know, and the person do not realize, but because he say it's my own account and I do what I'm saying, I'm right what I'm thinking, and I say this is my problem. This is what you are thinking, and you cannot do it with, you know, the on your position, professional position, because you impact the company and the reputation of the company.
Yeah. I think this is a very important thing for a young audience, our digital generation audience, to take this into consideration. Good. I would have loved to keep on chatting, and but all good things come to an end. So I have to unfortunately leave it at this. So Deanne, Anne-Françoise, thank you so much for being with us this hour, taking out of your very busy lives time.
It was a pleasure. Thanks to you.
No, thank you.
It was all, it was wonderful. It was an honor. So for our audience, just like to tell you, actually, well, both ladies, you'll be delighted. On December 1st, we're going to organize our second Hospitality Connect event in the famous Intercontinental Le Grand in Paris, where we're going to have some senior positions, senior managers. Amongst others, we're going to have the Senior Vice President Operations from Accor, Mr. Alan O'D, and some others who will be joining us kind of like this, but then in real time, in a real place. And we're going to present our Ferrières academic programs. There's going to be a cocktail afterwards. So if any of you is interested to join us, please, in the chat, you can find more information. So December 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. but it's by invitation, so you have to let us know. On the day after, we're going to have an open door event in Ferrières itself, in the campus, on December 2nd from 10 to 2 p.m., where you can learn everything about our programs and experience our campus. And for those of you that are online, the last thing, on December 6th from 6 to 7, we're going to have an online open day for those of you that cannot join us in Paris, France.
Good.
So that is all that. With this, I would like to, well, thank all of you. And we're going to have our next session next year. So we'll have December, we'll have a break. But on January 7th at 6 p.m. Paris and Barcelona time, we'll have another session. And for the rest, I would like to wish you all a wonderful Christmas holiday and New Year season. And I look forward to seeing you in 2024 with our next session of Ferrières Insight. And for the rest, yeah, be excellent and be ready to impact our world in a positive way. Thank you all so much for being with us. All the best, and hope to see you online or in real life if possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. All right. Thank you.